Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of our MLB Draft podcast. I'm Will McGuffey. I'm an attorney and certified financial planner. I'm here with my co-host, Josh McAllister, who's a CPA and a certified financial planner here at AWM Capital. Welcome to the show, Josh.
Thanks for having us. Our goal today is to discuss really what this decision is all about and help you understand and give you a roadmap that this decision is about money.
When we talk about professional baseball, Major League Baseball, it's an over $10 billion industry. And when we're talking about the draft here, for clubs, the decision on whether to draft a player or not, it boils down to money. What they value as a player. They're looking at you as an expected return on their balance sheet at some point as a Major League Baseball player. So as an athlete, shouldn't you be looking at this in the same manner as, hey, this is a business decision, this is a financial decision?
Yeah, well, I think it's really important to note, and it's been talked about in all circles, that this is a business. This isn't personal. I think it's funny. We ask our clients and other people in the industry, what is the chief goal of each MLB team? The resounding answer that everybody thinks is to win a World Series, which is quite honestly couldn't be further from the truth. The goal is to make money. These business owners want to make money. If they win a World Series along the way, great. Well, translate that to your son entering into this draft. This decision is about money.
What are some common, when we talk to families, you often hear, hey, the decision isn't all about money. What are some common statements that families make in regard to that?
Yeah, I think families, there's a couple of reasons why they make these statements. I think a lot of it deals with not wanting to get overwhelmed with it because money it truly is overwhelming. And so commonly families will say, well, we'll talk about that when the money comes. Like, we're not going to do anything right now until the money shows up. That's FYI, bad deal. Another thing they'll say is well, we're not going to get the cart ahead of in front of the horse. Well, again, same thing. You're limiting yourself and your scope of your business if you treat it as such.
When we talk about, hey, this isn't a financial decision, this decision is about money, what are some of the topics? What are some of the questions that surround that?
Yeah, I think who are the players also in the world? Be brief. There's other episodes that talk about this, but your agent is primarily doing two things for you. One is grossing you the most amount of money.
Yeah.
And trying to find a organization with a pathway to get to the show as quickly as possible. The question you should be asking is, what is my net bonus? Because that's ultimately what you can make decisions on, what you actually care about. What car can I buy? What house? How long can I save for? What can I spend? All that is predicated on net bonus, not gross.
When you say the word net bonus, can you break that down a little bit more? When I'm a drafted player and I say, hey, I've got a signing bonus of $4 million, what is my net bonus and how do I actually get to that calculation? What does that actually mean?
Yeah, I think let's just, to answer your question, it's a great question, Will. There's a story I think that can really hit that home. We worked with, in 2021, a top 10 overall pick who didn't have the gross amount of money in his draft bonus.
So didn't have the biggest amount?
Didn't have the biggest amount. Yeah, what everybody sees and what you can Google, right? But through us working with his agent, with the family, multiple months in advance of the draft. We're talking in March and April and May, talking through different scenarios, dealing with, hey, the psychological issues of this is a high school kid. Should he go to college or not? And ultimately, we were able to help the agent structure the contract for him to be the highest net earner in that draft class, which is amounted to about $800,000 of state taxes completely avoided. Made him the highest net earner in that draft class.
So he put, even though he was $1.7 million less than the highest gross signing bonus, he actually put more money in his pocket after taxes.
Yeah, said differently, he actually has the most amount of purchasing power in that draft class.
We talk about, a net bonus and that's being important. And I think a lot of times this is where, families kind of start the conversation and stop the conversation. It's hey, what's my signing bonus going to be? But when we talk about financial advice, it's not just about a signing bonus. It's not just about investments. What are some other questions that we should be asking that are financial advice that break this down to say, hey, this is about money. This decision is about money. What are some things that we should look at?
I'll answer your question in twofold, Will. The signing bonus is the tip of the iceberg as it relates to your career, right? And if, it's probably well known, 10% of the iceberg you can see, 90% is below.
Yeah.
90% of a player's career and earnings happen after the bonus hits, which is just, that is ultimately what's available to you. And so how do you maximize that bonus for, one, your ability to get to the show as quickly and efficiently as possible?
Yeah.
And then also, how do you maximize the current bonus, right? So one, it's minimizing taxes. It's actually being able to proactively tax plan on the tip of the iceberg 10% signing bonus.
Yeah.
And then investing in yourself, allowing that bonus to be a blessing that, like, it's just a stark reality that is unfortunate to a lot. The game's not fair to everybody who gets drafted. Yeah. If you have $25K and a signing bonus, that's not going to let you invest in the best performance training or nutrition or recovery systems. You get to as a bonus player. You just do.
Yeah. What about as far as, we talk about starting your career earlier rather than later? I mean, that's a financial decision. That's about money. Can you talk a little bit about the impacts as far as what it means to get to the major leagues at a younger age, what it means from an earning capacity to actually start your professional career and be a Major League Baseball player at 22 instead of at 25?
Yeah, this is both a tangible, intangible answer. Each family situation is your family situation. But here's the facts. And from a numerical standpoint, the tangible side of things. It helps to know what the earnings are going to be once you get to the major leagues to answer this question. So your MLB call-up year, you're going to be making league minimum, which right now is $700,000. And that is going to be your salary for the first 3 years of your major league career. By then in year 4, you move into arbitration, where you submit a number to the team submits a number to you. You guys agree upon mutually what your salary should be for years 4, 5, and 6. Yeah. The majority of the free agent contracts, not extensions, but free agent contracts that you see on SportsCenter happen in year 7 of a major league player's career. That doesn't include the 3 to 5 years that you spent in the minor leagues.
Yeah.
And so if you think about, if you get to the major leagues at age 22 out of high school, 4 years in the minor leagues versus 25 out of college, what that really equates to is I'm hitting free agency at 28, which the teams have valued as the prime earning years and prime production years from a baseball output standpoint, versus 31, which teams would then start to say, you're starting to decline. Yeah. Your best years were behind you.
Yeah. And by no means, we're not saying, hey, you should sign out of high school because of this. But this goes back to, this is part of the calculus to understand that this decision is about money. These decisions need to be broken down and understood to truly understand the decision you're making on whether to attend college or go back to college or start your professional baseball career now. And I think the other thing that, what we've seen teams do recently is we look back, hitting on some statistics, you look at the average major league debut of age of Major League Baseball players in the last 20 years, it's gone from 24 and a half to 20, I think it's 25.6, something like that.
I wonder why.
Yeah, it's gone up. And then you start to look at also, it's about money.
Right.
You start to look at the age of a major league roster and the position players. There was a stat that came out and it said something like 40%, 20 years ago, 40% of the players or position players were over 30 years old. Now that's less than 30%. You look at the average major league service time, and that service time is the amount of time you spend in the major leagues. It's decreased from almost 5 years as the average service time on a major league roster to now the team's about 3.75. And it all goes back to, hey, this is dollars. The teams are trying to make money. So the point in this is your decision should also be based on money because you want to get every dollar you can.
Yes, like your point, the statement right at the end, Will, was the most important. Like, they're going to treat you like a business, right? Yeah. Like the cash flow that I just walked through for the year's your earning cycle in the major leagues, it makes complete sense if in year 5 my value is $5 million, so to speak. Yeah. But I can find somebody who has the same value as me, same baseball production and output as somebody who's in year 2 earning $700K. It's a business decision to part ways with the $5 million salary and go for the $700K salary. You have to treat your career like a business to be able to invest in yourself, to give you the maximum amount of dollars on the outset. And let me just say one thing real quick on why you do that. because money is a tool to be taking care of what's important to you.
Yeah.
Getting the most amount of money is not just greed or the socially acceptable thing to do. It's more or less that like being able to fund what's important to your life, whether it's charitably, your family's legacy. It matters. You have a short earnings window that you have to capitalize on.
Yeah. And I think to kind of bring this point home, when we say this decision is about money, when it comes down to it, and look, we've all worked with families here on the financial side. I did it for over 10 years as an agent and advisor. Guess what? The one question that every team's going to ask, the one question they all want to know.
What's that, Will?
It's how much will you sign for? What is your number?
The gross number.
Yeah. So it brings it all back, is you really need to understand not just what that gross number is, but what the net is and what that means to you for your career on the field and off the field as well. So we really appreciate your time, guys. We know you might have a lot of questions. Our contact information will be at the bottom of this page. Please reach out to us if there's anything we can do. If there's future questions you want to have addressed on episodes, let us know. Once again, thanks again for joining us on the MLB Draft podcast.